Hello and welcome back. Today I am doing a mid-year flip through of my 2022 reading journal. I realize that I am filming this in August instead of June, but I had quite a few things happening in June, and then I thought July it's too late to post a mid-year reading journal, but I had seen Miss Plant Bride herself post one, and I will leave a link to hers in the description. But I had seen her post one recently, and I figured, you know what, it's not too late, so let's go ahead and get into it. Then we have my 2022 goals. I feel like I've kept up with them pretty well, and I'm proud of that. Then we have my titles on the shelf to be read, and so far I've read more than half. And again, I'm pretty proud of that as well. Then we go into my year in pixels. I think this is one of my favorite pages to actually look back on and review how many days I've read. Then we have my books on a bookshelf. For this, I just simply write in the title of the book and then I color it in based on the star rating I had given it. Then we have my good old Goodreads challenge, and so far I've read 30 books this year out of 44, and I'm pretty happy with that. Then we have my 5-star reads, and I will put these books in the description as well in case you want to read any of those. These are just ones that I've personally found as a 5-star. Flipping into the next page, we have my yearly statistics. It's my books read, the pages, 5 stars, audio versus physical, owned versus library, author female versus male. And one of my goals this year was to read more from the library and to stop myself from buying more books. And then we get into my genre tracker. It is in the same format as my yearly statistics. I just put the genres on the left-hand side. And then we start getting into my challenges. This is my Read the Rainbow challenge, and so far I am just missing my red and yellow covers. Then we have my alphabet challenge, which pause and put in any book title that you have a recommendation for that it fills any of these spots. I am desperately looking for any books. I've noticed that most start with the or a or on, and I don't count those as anything else versus T, A, or O. Then we have my reading bingo. This is actually one of my favorite spreads in the entire journal. I just think it's so fun to fill out every time, and it's just pretty to look back on, and I've reached my first bingo in July. Then we have my words I've learned while reading, and I like how I made this spread, and I feel like this is going to be the same way that I make it in my 2023 journals. And lastly, in my reading journal setup, we have the libraries I visited this year. So far, I visited Portugal, Ireland, and 2 in Germany. And then when we flip to the next page, it's sort of just a scrapbook of the libraries that I visited. So this was Portugal, and then on the bottom left I have the books that I purchased while I was there. I got the Little Prince in English and the Wizard of Oz in French, and then Peter Pan in Spanish. I just picked up every language there because they were just beautiful books. And then we have Trinity College in Ireland, and I have yet to put any in for Germany. And then we have, going into January, my sights and reads. And then if you've watched my May reading journals, you've noticed that I like to do a sights and reads. It just encourages me to go out more, and that way I have to take pictures and document where I've been. And then I just put the book covers alongside it and what I've did that month. And that's just a good way for me to scrapbook and get my creativity out, and I just think it's fun to look back on. Then for all of my book summaries, it's just thoughts I had, the ratings, and I put them in order of how I've read them, even if the book club read is at the end. And then we go into my statistics. And then flipping into the next page, we have my February through March sights and reads. I only read one book in February, so I decided to combine it with March. And in March we went to Ireland. Then we have my my house in the Cerulean Sea. I rated this 5 stars and just made a full spread, including all of the characters' traits at the bottom. I really like how this spread came out. I feel like it really embodied the book. And then we have my February stats, and I just put quotes from books in this sort of dotted box, and then for any book club read I just put it on the side there. Then we have my May sights and reads. This month we went to the Frankenstein Castle, and then I've also read 8 books that month. I was pretty proud of myself because if you've noticed, we completely skipped over April because I didn't read it all that month. And then for this book series, I just printed out the photos from the book itself just because I feel like that really shows more into the book than I could ever write. And for this series, I've rated almost every book I've read 4 or 5 stars, so I'll put that in the description as well if you want to check it out. Keep in mind, there are huge trigger warnings for that book. It just involves the war with the US and Japan and all of the bombings. And then we have another spread that I really like. I like how this one was just so vibrant and it was just pretty to me, and I drew the character that they described from the book just based on the descriptions that it gave. And then we just have back-to-back 5-star reads, and for each of those I either filled up an entire page or I just made it completely quotes. Then we go into my May stats, but wait, I need to preface June. So June I did not put any effort into at all. I just had so many things happening in June, and my emotions were very reflected in this spread. Nothing was going well that month, so I decided just to leave it like this. And not every spread needs to be beautiful, and not every spread needs to encapsulate really how I felt or things that I did that month. And I'm not even sure if I put all of the book covers on June. And then flipping through, we have another 5-star read from me. I like how I did the curtains here just because they were a big portion of this book, and I like how I did the writing in between just as if you were looking out of a window. And lastly, we are just flipping through to my June stats. It is very simple. I just put in the charts and graphs of what books I've read and how many I got from the library, how many pages I've read, etc. And then we'll just go ahead and do a final flip through. And then I realized now that behind the grid spacing cheat sheet, these pages were stuck together in the beginning, so I'm just slowing it down here. This page was previously blank if you had watched my reading journal setup video, and I ended up deciding just to put all the covers of the books that I've read so far this year That way when I open up my journal, I can just see everything at a glance. And I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who watched this, and I will go ahead and see you in the next one. Alright, take care, bye.